Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to the latest edition of Messianism. I'm your host, Divine Messiah, and today is the 10th of March, 2026. Well, can't believe it's already 2026. Just feels like it was COVID a few days ago. Anyway, 2026, what a year it has been so far. What a year. So much chaos, so much confusion, so much overflow of information, the blurring of line between facts and fiction, what's real and unreal. Well, this is the peak of chaos and confusion. I mean, at no point in history has humanity been drowning, absolutely immersed in so much information that an average person is unable to decipher the sins of our political leader, the so-called people who are supposed to lead us. Anyway, we started the year with the capturing of the Venezuelan President Maduro. Then we moved on to the killing of the Mexican drug lord. And now it's been, almost 11 days now. 11 days, because it started on the 28th of February. It's been 11 days since Iran was attacked by America and Israel, and the world was plunged into another war in the Middle East after Syria, Iraq, Lebanon, Yemen. Now the Western powers have finally moved their attention towards Iran, their final enemy in the Middle East, the only country that can stand up to the powers that be. And it's not going good for the Iranians. It's a bloodbath. Thousands of people have died. There have been attacks on the oil wells, the desalination plants, which require a lot of energy and manpower. That's been attacked. The oil fields have been attacked. The war hasn't come to the European borders or any other parts of the world per se, but so far it's heavily concentrated in the Middle East. But hopefully, this war ends soon, because it's having a massive toll upon the human life, upon the people's pockets. Everything's becoming more expensive because oil is interlinked and interrelated with all things in this world. So yeah, financially, the cost of war is hitting the pockets of people all over the world, and it's not looking good so far. I mean, Iran is cornered, and they've killed their supreme leader, and it's not going good for them. People are getting carpet bombed, but they are retaliating. They've hit almost all the military bases of the USA in the Middle East, and they've been heavily bombarding Israel with missiles and drones, and it's not looking good. It's not looking good for the people in Middle East, especially the people in Israel and Iran. They're having to live in danger and pay the heaviest price, especially the civilians. Where it comes to the rest of the world, Asia, the Europe, South America, North America, or Africa, most of the other world is looking at all of this, and to be honest, no one wants a war, and it's affecting everyone. It's affecting everyone emotionally, financially, spiritually, because war is not good. Human beings by nature, our empathetic nature, our spiritual nature, we do not want war, we want peace. But the way the world is structured, the organizations, the financial institutions, and the power that be, they've structured the world in such a way that the people at the top, the elite, who've been in control of the human race for hundreds, if not thousands of years, they've been dictating how we live and what we learn and what we believe to be right and wrong. All of this is being changed. I feel like 2026 is the year that the great reveal is taking place. Like, finally, the mask is coming off because of the release of the Epstein files. The world has been plunged into so much chaos that people don't know how to make sense of it all, or what to make of it all. And on top of that, we now have the Iran war on our hands. So people need time to comprehend and to make sense of things. But because this year in 2026 we have been bombarded with so much information, we are so heavily stimulated, and it's only March 2026, and we are bombarded with so much information that we don't know how to make sense of it all. So it is a very grey and dark time to be alive in 2026, because the people in power, the elites that run the world, that power that be, they've been operating from the shadows for the longest of time. Well, since the very beginning of time, because they believe in the motto that the real power lies in the shadows. But as we can see in 2026, with the controlled awakening of the humanity and the suppression of the human consciousness that we are witnessing through the release of the Epstein files, and now the Iran war, it is an attack not just on Iran, it's on the attack on the very consciousness of the human being. Because no matter how disconnected or separated we think we are from each other, we're not. Spiritually, emotionally, well, to a large extent financially, this world is connected and interconnected in many ways, and affects all of us. It does not matter which part of the world you live in. If you're lucky enough to be living in the Western countries, you are shielded up to an extent from the financial shock of the ongoing war. But it will come to every country in the world. It will hit everyone's pocket, especially the poor and the needy. They will be affected the most all over the world. Well, when it comes to the elites, the people in power, it makes no difference to them. If anything, they're going to benefit from this. You know, all the defense contracting companies in the USA, their stocks are going high. The oil companies, their stocks are going high. But at the same time, the power vested in an average person through financial means, basically our financial power is being depleted in real time. As to what your money can buy is going down tremendously by the day. So it's very important in a time like this, in a situation like this, that you are prepared. You know, you're prepared to make sense of things, as to how all of this fits into your life, how it affects you financially, spiritually, emotionally, collectively, individually. It affects all of us. Because when you're living in a state of war, and it doesn't necessarily have to be, the war doesn't necessarily have to be on the land where you live, but because we're all connected to each other spiritually and emotionally, and well, we're all connected to each other via the internet now. So whatever happens in Middle East, everyone is notified about it, you know, through mass media, through alternate media, and there's a lot of propaganda out there. There's a lot of fake news out there, because remember, in the age of overstimulation, what is right is more powerful than ever, because we now have the AI, through the optimization and application of which we can, or the people in power can make people believe that the wrong is right and the right is wrong. So it's very, very difficult. It's becoming extremely difficult for people to decipher between the wrong and the rights of this world. But to make sense of it all, to decipher it and to deconstruct it so we can reconstruct it into a life and into a being, you know, that can make sense of it all and can rise above all of this, you know, so-called problems that are created by the people that be, the power that be. But it is we have to make sense of it also. What we are witnessing right now, you know, the attack of America and Israel versus Iran, this is nothing new. You know, humanity has been engaged in wars throughout the ages. You know, humanity can find almost limitless excuses. You know, especially if you have an empire that is so strong and so huge and so overpowering, like USA. It's only fair in their regards that they think that they're untouchable, and the world should listen to them, as would any dominant species. It's only human, yeah, that I'm powerful and no one can challenge me, and everyone has to listen to me, and I will dictate the rules and regulations of this world, the financial policies which affect everyone. Yeah, so America's been doing this well, since the end of the Second World War, everything is geared towards, making the American empire mighty and powerful, because not only they have put in place the policies in the financial institutions through World Bank and World Economic Forum and United Nations. Like for the longest time, USA was wearing this mask that they are the liberator and the protector of the people of this planet. But sadly and unfortunately, the truth is stranger than fiction, because it's not looking good. If you look back on, the American history from the very beginning, from its very creation, not only did the Europeans go to another land, the natives of the land, the North Americans, they did horrendous things in the name of liberty and freedom. The white Europeans colonized the North American land, and because at that time the North Americans were not that evolved, be it biologically, medically, financially, or spiritually, they were all powered by their European counterparts, because they had guns, they had ammos, they had better weapons, and through systematic killings and the sacrifice of millions of Native Americans, America was born. America was born on the ruins of the old world, the old civilization which existed before the Europeans' arrival. So they were completely wiped out from the face of the earth, and they not only did that, they do that through weapons and guns. They brought diseases from Europe to North America, towards which the indigenous people had no natural defenses against. So this sacrificial killing has been going on for the longest of times. I mean, first the Europeans were killing each other in World War I and II, and before that they were enslaving the people through the Roman Empire. Then we had the Egyptian pharaohs doing it, and if you go far back, we go to Mesopotamia and Samaria. So these elites, the people in power, they have this twisted mind of superiority complex. They believe they are the dominant species on the planet, and they and their bloodlines, they have divine rulership. That's why they call him the God King, or at least what they do in our country, in England. So this sacrificial killing of the people, of the masses, this has been going on for hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of years, from the very beginning of time, I would say. It all started when Adam and Eve's first two borns, they had a fight and one killed the other, and a lot of theologians and religious leaders would say the killing of the first human marked the future, and it led the way to where we are today, where it started with one killing the other, but now it's reached a level that we're killing people by mass, by numbers, by huge numbers, because we've got very dangerous weapons. We've got weapons so dangerous that we can destroy the world, you know. The powerful countries, they all have nuclear bombs, they have hydrogen bombs. Hopefully it doesn't get to that level where these people, these crazy people in power, hopefully they don't get to that level that they would want to use nuclear bombs on each other, because that would destroy the world and the people and the atmosphere. I mean, with the other weapons, at least, you know, it doesn't do permanent damage. With the missiles and drones and their torpedoes and their guns and ammunitions, you know. Although those are wrong at every level, but things such as hydrogen bomb, nuclear bomb, especially, you know, that can not only destroy the people of the land, but also the atmosphere that we need to breathe and to stay alive in. So hopefully it doesn't get to that level. We're all praying, you know, the believers, we're all praying, and we want this war to end soon. We want people to live in peace and harmony and be like brothers and sisters towards each other. But as is the nature of human beings, there is this darkness within us all, and well, I've come to realize that it doesn't necessarily mean because you're richer and powerful, that darkness does not go anywhere. It's within us all at all times. But the thing is, the more richer you become, the more powerful you become, that darkness tends to expand and extend its reach beyond your physical reach as well. Like, it wants to expand and touch as many lives as possible in a negative way. And the thing with the war is one thing which affects everyone globally. Like, if you look at World War I and World War II, it was mainly fought in Europe. So it should have been called a European war, but because this war was fought amongst the Europeans, amongst the white people themselves and the power that be, and because Europeans believe that Europe is the center of the world, not just financially but intellectually, that's why they would call those two wars World War I and World War II, in which mostly European people were killed, European civilians who had nothing to do with the war, and they were just trying to live their lives. And that's the thing with war, and these demonic entities in power at the top, these satanic entities, they thrive off human suffering. Like, the more suffering there is in the world, the more they thrive. There has to be constant and continuous flow of negative energy going around the world, because that in turn creates this aroma and aura and frequency of fear around the world, where people feel hopeless, people feel miserable, people feel like, what is the meaning of all of this? If I have no power, no control over my own destiny, over my own country, and over my own life, most of the people, you know, they fall into the rabbit hole of despair. And the people in charge, the people at the top, I believe that an ultimate aim is to give birth to a new system, a new governmental system, a new financial system, a new ecological system, which makes the control of the entire human race, the very globe itself, it makes it very efficient and effective for them. And that's why you would see after the World War II the creation of institutions which centralizes power, brings everyone to the same table. They did that through the establishment of UN and World Bank and WEF and World Health Organization, World Trade Organization. Like through this institution, for the last 70 plus years, they've been preparing the human consciousness for the ultimate government, the ultimate source of control, the ultimate way to control humanity. As some of you might have come across content online about the rise of the AI and how AI is eventually going to replace human beings, and it's going to affect almost every area of life. This is going to happen, as the same thing happened when the Industrial Revolution happened, you know. But this is something different. When the Industrial Revolution happened, we created the machines to do the jobs that we could not do. But AI is completely different, because they're trying to give AI consciousness. They're trying to give AI free will and agency, so to speak. And what I see coming by the end of this war, this Iran war, which I predict will be very soon. All the powers that be, they want this war to carry on, and because war is a big business. War is, you can arguably say, war is America's biggest export right now. As since the end of World War II, America has invaded or attacked 70 plus countries. So the military industrial complex in America, it's one of the biggest industries in America and biggest source of income for America as a country. But what I've come to realize about America is I don't feel like America is a nation per se. America feels more like a corporation. Because if you see the way the American power is structured, the American politics is structured, and the American economy is structured, and the American healthcare is structured, the people at the top, the 1% that really control and dictate the way of life, not only for the Americans, but for the majority of the world through the influence of the petrodollars, you will see that power is structured at the top of the pyramid, just like it was back in the day in the pharaonic time, in the Egyptian time. Pharaoh was the god king. And what you will see in America is the merger of the Roman ideology mixed with the Egyptian ideology, and there are some elements of the Sumerian and Babylonian ideologies as well. Because at the essence of it, if you go far back enough, you will see that all these ideologies, they came from the same people, from the same mindset, and from the same people. And they've been developing this ideology, the people, the elites, for the longest of times. And for this ideology to have reached its pivotal point right now in 2026, And the American government has already coined this war, the Holy War. It started as a regime change, but is now evolved and convoluted into a war, a holy war. Well, in essence, they would call it's a war between the Christian Zionists versus the Shia Muslims. And all the Sunni Muslims of the Middle East, all the rich ones that, according to Iran, have sold their mind, bodies, and souls to the Dajjal, to the Satan, the great Satan. It's essentially it's an ideological war, but it's a religious war, and it's the war for the dominance over the Middle East, which just so happens to be the most resource-rich part of the world. And I don't think it's any accident that one of the best movies ever created, the Lord of the Rings series, their main agenda, or the guy who wrote the book, you can tell that they were trying to tell us something huge. They were trying to inform us of something. Or I would even go to that level. When the movies were released, they were trying to create a propaganda on such a level that would stay in the consciousness of humanity for the longest of times. Because Lord of the Rings was released over 2 decades ago, but most of the people, they remember it very well, because not only was it a great movie, great cast, music, direction, editing, everything was amazing. I've seen those movies personally. But the point I'm trying to get to home to is that you have to understand that everything that comes out of the West, especially comes out of America, by the military industrial complex, be it the IT complex in Silicon Valley or the media complex in Hollywood, they don't do things by accident. Everything they do is got multiple purposes. But with the Hollywood, I would say their main purpose would be to program the human mind, just the way we program computers and AI agents to service. They do that to the human civilization, and they've been doing that on the mass scale for the thousands of years. But the instruments of control have become modernized, and like Benjamin Netanyahu said a few weeks ago, that everyone around the world carries a piece of Israel with them. I believe what he was referring to is your smart devices, be it your smartphones, your smart gadgets, your smart TVs. Israel is saying that they're so deeply ingrained within the technological framework of the world, and they've made people so enslaved to their way of life, to their way of thinking. Like, they've brainwashed us to an extent that even if we wanted to let go of it, it would be almost impossible to do such a thing, because we are addicted. We're addicted to our smartphones and smart devices, and it's not looking good with the dawn of the AI. Everything's going to become even more smarter with e-money. We're going to have smart money, so the government decides through CBDCs as to what will happen to us and what we can do with our own money, where we can spend it and where we cannot spend it. So big changes are coming. I believe huge changes are going to happen by the end of this decade. By the end of 2030, we will have reached the stage when it comes to AI and electronic money that people will be ready to adopt it, as we have been programmed to be so since the creation of the Bitcoin and the so-called guy who created this, Satoshi Nakamoto, some random Japanese name, but as people have discovered from the recent release of the Epstein files, that Epstein was linked to a lot of big things. People have found that he was linked to 9/11. He was linked to the 2009 financial crisis. He was somehow linked to the COVID vaccine and how he wanted to inject his DNA into as many human beings as possible, so he can forward his demonic genes to as many people as possible, so he can affect as many people as possible. Become an immortal, but at the same time, what we see in a lot of scary movies, zombie movies, lately we've been seeing the rise of the movies which promote the spread of the fungi. So if you look at all of this, you will see that their point has always been the same. They want to spread their genes, be it through vaccine, be it through a virus, and even till today we're not exactly sure, or we're not told the truth about as to how COVID came around, which in effect changed the neurological pathway of the human race, because the last thing something like this happened was all the way in 1914. Just as the First World War was beginning, we had the Spanish flu breakout. But for us to have experienced something like that, where most of the humanity will willingly go into their own homes and they would cage themselves willingly in the fear of an invisible virus, it was not heard or not seen or not to be believed upon for the longest of times. But the fear of death is such a great and monumental fear that it will make anyone do anything. The fear of death itself. And that's the motto of the satanic or the demonic entities, or the people in power. As they would famously say, there's nothing to fear but the fear itself. It's the idea of fear that gets to us, the idea of the unknown, and the idea that it will somehow affect me, affect my life, and affect my family, affect my individual surroundings. So fear is the biggest tool that they've been using against us from the very beginning of time. You know, the fear of becoming homeless, the fear of not having enough. It's just fear compounded, one on top of each other. And now we come to 2026, there's so much overstimulation. Like before the dawn of the smartphones and this alternative media like Instagram, TikTok, and now Twitter, you could see the channels of control, the ways of control through mass media. You know, we have BBC in UK, ITV, Channel 4, and the same thing is true for the rest of the Europe, the rest of North America, be it America or Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Europe, Asia, Africa, South America. You will see that the same channel of control, the same influence of control, the same sphere of control is being implemented and applied and practiced all over the world. It doesn't matter which side of the world you live in, because mass media, be it national and international level, they've been propagating and programming us, and they've been changing the narrative as to what they want the masses and us to believe in. They've been doing that for hundreds of years, since the beginning of time. Before they had print media, they would have this guy who would go in the town center and announce the king's rules and regulations and new taxes. And then the print media came. The way they would spread their misinformation, it just reached really high level. And after the print media, it would be the invention of the radio, which was originally invented for the purpose of the military, like everything else is. With print media, after that the radio, and after that the biggest one would be the TV. The TV has been the biggest form of control which has been pushed upon us from the very beginning of its invention. As like any other new technology, first it was exclusively for the rich, but over time, through trickle-down economy and through financial means, the cost of producing this technology, TV, especially the smart TVs, it came down. It's come down so much that almost everyone in the Western Hemisphere, I would even say in the East and even in the Middle East, all these rich countries, or even the middle power countries, TV is something that is being advertised to us as something that should be highly desirable, not knowing that the previous TVs, they were tuned into these frequencies which brought the human level of thinking down, which made them docile. Because the same thing happens with the radio. Like, it's got different frequencies and different channels, and no matter which frequency or channel you tune that radio to, the government would control and broadcast upon all the frequencies. And they did the same thing with the TV, but only this time everything is visual. Not only can you hear it like the radio, now you can see it with your eyes and be bombarded with these images and these videos and these ideologies and these pre-programmed, pre-chosen broadcasting, these demonic spells into the psyche and the human consciousness, as to such an extent that people will become so docile and so subservient that they will not question their own reality. They will not question their own way of life. They will not question their own government. They would be fed such an information on consistent basis that they would believe that whatever the government is saying is right, and whatever they believe in their gut to be right is wrong. Like, people have been programmed to go against their own self, because they've made us believe that the greatest form of evil is the evil which resides within the human, within one and all of us. And on top of that, now we have this LGBTQ plus agenda, the role reversal as to how men are being feminized and women are being made masculine, like the reversal of the roles. So it's a lot. It is a lot for someone who's born and raised in the system to see the weapons of control and the instruments through which they make us all dance on their frequencies. And it's a lot. I mean, no matter how far I went back, these these demonic people, these satanic entities, they've always been in power, and they've always directed us towards a certain agenda that's chosen by them, so they can misguide us, so that they can control us, so that they can dictate to us as to what is right and what is wrong, and what we should believe and not believe. And when we see someone suffering, we've become dehumanized towards it. Like, they're turning free will conscious human beings into NPCs, into bots who are compliant, into beings who do not question the authority, into an entity who is just as soulless as they are. And that is what they're really after. They're after our free will, our consciousness, this power that we have, the power of imagination. Because these demonic entities, they don't have all of that. They don't have the power of imagination. The best thing they can do is mimicry. They can mimic us. But you will always see these demonic powers, they've always been very proud and very arrogant of their technology from the very beginning. Like, the main reason like the Tower of Babel was constructed is to show their technological might, and in essence to fool the people of the time that they are really the gods of this world. Like, they've got the power of technology, the power to do things that humanity could not even conceive of, such things in the back in the day. So yeah, these people, these elites, they live for thousands of years, or the entities they serve, they do. So these things that we're going through right now, the dawn of the AI, the Iran war, what we are told to be true, we can see with our own eyes, with our own senses. We can feel it deep down that something is very wrong with the world. Very, very wrong with the world. But because we do not want to stand out, we do not want any trouble, we don't want to fall out of line, we don't want to make enemies or get on some sort of government watch list. It gets to us. Like I said earlier on, the greatest form of fear is fear itself, fear of everything. That's what they want us to be like. They want us to fear everything, so much so that we're afraid to step out of our own home. And that's what they did during the COVID times. They would go to extreme levels to put pressure on humanity, to make them docile and make them compliant. They would go to almost any level you can think of, they would go to. They want to keep us afraid, because they know the moment we're not afraid anymore, the moment we realize that we're not separate entities, all of us as human beings, all of us as organisms, on this planet, all the animals that we share this planet with, all the things that are, in this world, all the beautiful things that Creator has blessed us with, it's all made for us. we're all meant to be the dominant species of the planet, but not in a way the Satan wants us to think or believe. Yeah, we are the dominant species of the planet, but that does not mean that we create chaos and confusion and destruction, and we kill all the animals, and we pollute all the environment, and we suck all the resources out of the planet Earth, and we kill and bomb and do all the unspeakable and horrendous things to everyone and everything who does not fall in line, who does not believe what we believe in, who does not agree with us, with our way of life. Well, that is truly and utterly demonic, and we all know in the hearts of our hearts, we all just want to live. We all just want to live, not just exist. We all just want to live. But sadly, the people in power, they don't want us to live. They want us to exist. Be a number, be an NPC, be powerless, be miserable, be just an individual who's concerned about his own survival, who does not see the bigger picture of life, who does not understand what is really going on in the world. But if there's anything I've learned and I've fully comprehended in all my years of being alive on this planet, is everything is temporary. Life is temporary, this earth is temporary, everything is temporary. I believe the only thing that's permanent and eternal is the experiences you have, the places you go, the lives that you affect, be it positively or negatively. Basically, the kind of deeds that you accumulate through the course of your life, be it your positive thoughts and actions or be it negative thoughts and actions. Everything's an accumulation. It's an accumulation of deeds and experiences. And the people in charge, the demiurge at the top, they understand this very well. They understand this very, very well. And they're all very, very, very religious. They follow this doctrine, this satanic doctrine, religiously. But at the same time, they will push upon us, the humanity, that there is no creator, that there is no greater power, there is no source any of this. Everything is random. You're random, I'm random, this world is random. Everything's just a fluke. Everything just happened out of collection of misaligned and miscalculation. Like, none of this makes any sense. Absolute no sense. And what do they call the first creation of the universe? Big Bang. Even there is a sexual connotation. But the point I'm trying to make, if you program and brainwash the humanity from their birth through education system, through governmental policies, through financial and economic instruments, you can affect the very way the people think and believe to an extreme extent. And what we are witnessing right now through the reveal, through the great reveal and the removal of the masks, and what we are seeing in the world right now, especially when it comes to elites, like, everything has a beginning and has an end. Like an Ouroboros, a snake eating its own tail. And I feel like that self-fulfilling prophecy is somehow coming to fruition now, or we're seeing the early stages of things through this Iran war. Because although Iran is not as advanced militarily, like they don't have the latest technology when it comes to war, but what they actually have and what the West is lacking is Iran actually believes in the divine. They believe in martyrdom. They believe in sacrifice. And that's something that no amount of military might can give you or your people that serve you, the military people. That's something that comes from within. That's something that comes through generation of uninterrupted connection with the divinity up above. And because of which I believe that this war, this Iran war is not going to be that easy for America and Israel to win, as we witnessed in the 12-day war in 2025. And eventually they had to call for a ceasefire. It's like the movie Avatar. The white people, they go to the blue alien planet, but the blue alien planet people, they don't have the best of technology, but they're connected to Ava. Spiritually, they're very strong and they all united. And when they come together, they can defeat even the most powerful of empires and enemies. So that's what we are seeing unfolding in real time right now through the Iran war. Like, although Iran is cornered, but somehow you will see that the way Iran is laid out and the way Middle East is laid out in front of it, Iran is like made up of mountains and Middle East is just mostly flat land. And you will see the destruction of the military bases in all of these proxy Arab countries that is happening right now. So the Iran has destroyed almost all the military assets and bases in the Middle East, and now Israel is getting heavily bombarded. But they're doing so with their drones and their missiles. Like, Iran doesn't necessarily have a very strong navy or an air force. But because technologically, when it comes to missiles and drones, they're very advanced, and somehow that's turning out to be in their favor. But the biggest loss of lives, as we can see, as reported in mass media, in alternate media, that Iran is suffering a lot. And how long they can keep on going, it depends. But as we can see from the previous invasions, when it comes to Iraq invasion, when it comes to Afghanistan invasion, it did not go so well. Like, the West, the NATO was in Afghanistan for 20 years, and when the 20 years was up, they left in the middle of the night with no clear strategy. And not only that, they left all the guns, all the ammunitions behind for Taliban for some reason, so they can control the people more easily. And we'll see the same thing with Iraq. They do not have a properly established and recognized government in Iraq. Iraq is right now divided into factions between US, America, and some parts of Iran. We don't have a functioning government in Iraq. So we can see the real fight of the empire has always been for the control of the resources and the control of the human mind. And we are seeing the same things happen currently in the Iran war. And it's affecting all of us financially, at least, whether you live in Asia or Europe or Africa. We're all being affected because we all need oil, we all need gas, we all need to live. It's not that hard, man. We all just need to live, we all need to love. But the power that be, they don't want that for us. They don't want us to live. They want us to exist. But enough of existing, enough of just being a number, a stat in their database, because that's what we all are. We're just mindless bots. We're programmed to be just these mindless materialistic bots that keep feeding the system by buying random things and being as materialistic as possible. That's the only thing that's been heavily pushed upon us. That for us, they've been pushing on us. They've been wanting us to believe for the longest time that there is no God, life is an accident, there is no higher power up there, this life does not matter, we do not have a purpose, and everything is random. And you know, when the people in power, the 1%, they're telling you all of this, you know, then you need to know that opposite is always true. Not what they're telling you, because they will always tell you the opposite of what you should be doing. So if they're telling you there is no God, then you know absolutely there is a creator up there. Not in a way they want you to believe they're satanic, demonic gods. There is a creator up there, and who created us, this world, you know, this atmosphere. None of this is an accident. It can only happen through the application of an intellectually divine being who knows everything there is to know. So to end this video, I would like to summarize it by saying, don't fall for their traps. Don't be materialistic. Stop chasing your own tail, because that's what they want you to do. You need to come out of this me mindset, this self-indulgent, egoistic, narcissistic mindset that they've implanted upon all of us. Like if it doesn't affect you, it shouldn't matter to you. What we all need to understand is that although we might be divided into categories and subcategories through the color of our skin, through the application of our mindset, and through our belief system, they've found endless ways to categorize us and to divide us so that they can easily conquer us. But what we need to understand is that we're all the same from the inside, like spiritually. We're all the same. I mean, color of our skin, the color of our eyes, and the thoughts in our head, all of this is temporary. The very essence of humanity, the essence of you and me, we're all divine, infinite, limitless, spiritual being who are having a temporary human experience. But they want you to live in an inverted reality. They've made us believe that you are a temporary, accidental, materialistic being that just somehow ended up on this planet out of all the planets in the universe. Sounds like a massive baloney, even if you think about it. So yeah, to finish this video, do the opposite of whatever your government tells you. Because if the governments of this world, they really wanted the best for us, then they wouldn't purposefully come up with policies which affect us all financially, which takes more and more money, more and more control out of our hands and our minds and our soul, and instead funneling all of that to the corporate elites of the world who basically run and own this world. And the only difference between the ancient times and the modern times, I would say, in the ancient times, people would know that they're slaves because they would be wearing physical identifiers around their neck, around their body, that would consistently remind them the chains of their enslavement. They would always see these physical appearances that reminded them they're slaves. But the thing, compare that to the modern times, we may not have chains around our necks and around our bodies, and they may not be physically pulling us down. But what they're doing now, because you can only do so much with physical restrictions, they've come up with mental and emotional and financial restrictions, because they understand that only through such implementations that they can mass hypnotize us and mass control us and mass inform us, misinform us, and mass misdirect us. Everything is done in mass now. So we need to take back the control of our individual lives, of our individual countries, and we need to understand that none of us are separate. It does not matter whether you live on this side of the border or that side of the border. We're all the same from inside, and our natural instinct is to help one and all, regardless of their ideology or their caste or their creed or their cultural background. We all want to be good, do good towards one and all. It's like this, like people, the government has to teach you to hate, but to love comes naturally. That's what the Nazis did. They would propagate and they would teach the youngsters to look down upon certain groups or certain individuals of people, and they would make them believe from the very early age that they were the chosen ones. They were destined to do great things, and everyone else is just their pawns and their minions, and they deserve less than them. And that's how the enemy divides us, and that's how eventually the enemy conquers us. So remember, although we might seem like we're separate, individually, well, we're all connected with each other through this spiritual hive mind that dictates reality, the natural reality. And then we have this fake illusionary God whose face you can see on your currencies and the back of the dollar bill, the one-eyed God of this world. The Nephilim, the Demiurge, the Satan, whatever you want to call it, Baal, Moloch. It's always been the same entity from the very beginning of time until now, because they live for thousands of years as opposed to us. Even now, even the richest person can barely make it to 100, but these entities, they can live for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. So what they want to do is make their heaven on earth, because they don't want to face judgment. They don't want to face the wrath of God. So they would do everything in their power to push for transhumanist agendas, to push for policies which does reversal of aging. They will want to do things which makes them look young and stay young, because they want to stay young forever, because this world is all they have. They have nothing else to look forward to. This physical realm is all the rich and the elite have, and they would do everything in their power to keep things under their dominance, under their control. And for that to happen, they need control of the resources, and then the control over the minds of the people. And they don't need a lot of people. They don't need a lot. They've already told us through the writing on the stone, they only need about 500 million of us. So they've been trying to get rid of us through wars, through viral infections, through contamination, through microplastic, you name it, through the chemicals in the air. They've been doing it for decades and centuries, trying to decrease our numbers and trying to keep us in control. But no matter what they do, they're not God. Although they would claim to be gods, they're not God. They cannot stop you from breathing unless physically. But that's their ultimate goal, to make this world a living hell for the believers and make this world a heaven for the unbelievers. So as we progress with time towards the end times meaning it will be the end times for the believers and the beginning time for the unbelievers. So all those who disbelieve, who do all things negative, all things that is anti the creator, anti-creator, these beings and these things, they will rise up and they will take control of this world, as we can witness the first stages of it right now through the implementation of AI and this never-ending wars and these instruments of control, be it financial or medical or otherwise. Right, so to finish this video off, mind your energy. Who do you feed your energy to? What do you watch? What do you consume? What do you eat? What do you drink? Who do you hang out with? What ideas occupy your mind most of the time? Are they positive? Are they negative? Who are the 5 people that you hang around with most of the time? Are they good? Are they bad? Are they rich? Are they poor? Are they lifting you? Are they putting you down? Although we cannot control what our governments do at national and international level, we can start by monitoring ourselves individually. We need to monitor that we only take in positive thoughts and positive actions result from us. That you yourself do not personally harm or injure another being or another thing, with be it your thoughts or your actions. Because we cannot control other people's thoughts and actions. What we can do at most is control our own thoughts and actions, and when we reach that level that we can witness our own thoughts and we can foresee our own actions, you will reach that level of the God's eye level. You will awaken that divinity within you. Then you will become aware of the source of infinity within you, and then you will become aware of your own power of imagination, and you will discover what it is that you're meant to do. What is it that you were sent down to this earth for? What is your divine purpose? Because we all have one. No matter what the system tells us, we all have a purpose. But the system wants to make us purposeless when we are all divinely purposeful. So don't let go of your positive side. Be as positive as you can be. Help one and all as much as you can, whether it's physically, mentally, emotionally, financially. Yeah, you're not going to be able to end wars. Yeah, you're not going to be able to get rid of mass poverty. There will always be poor people and there will always be rich people. What you need to understand is wars will come and go, but the war for your consciousness, but the war for the free will of the humanity, that will never end. That will always be there. That will always be there. And our purpose as an individual and as human beings is to make the world a better place as much as we can, whether it be our thoughts and our actions, whether we can help someone financially or emotionally or physically. The world is a good place. The world is a great place, but the people in power, they don't want us to be empowered. They want us to be NPCs, mindless NPCs, just blindly not looking left or right, just looking towards our government like little children, not knowing what's right and what's wrong, and to follow them blindly. You have it in you, right here and here. When you connect your mind with your soul, you will know what it is that you need to do, because your soul, your consciousness will tell you. So don't worry about this war that's going on right now, this Iran war that's going on. It will eventually, and I predict it will end soon, very soon, because America and the West, they cannot take a lot of financial damage. They don't want their own institutions to fall down. So yeah, this war will continue, but not for long. And I think Iran's gonna give them a lot of resistance, just like something like they experienced in Vietnam. Iran looks like from the early stages is going to be another Vietnam, but hopefully, my prayers are that this war ends soon, and because I don't want to see anyone suffering. I don't want to see any human being suffer, be it in Iran, be it in America or West or anywhere else. We all want to live. No one wants to suffer. We all want to have a good life. So have good thoughts, follow them with great actions, and do good, feel good, and live. Don't just exist, live, and all will be fine. I hope you enjoyed that video, rather long video. If you did, give us a like, share it with your family and friends, and be positive, think positive, act positive, no matter what. Because your physical life, your human life will eventually end. And like I said, we're all accumulating experiences, and we're all accumulating deeds, be it good or bad deeds. So just accumulate good things, great things, positive things, so that when the curtain finally falls and it's time for you to face your Creator, you'll be full of light and divinity, and the Creator shall uplift you into the highest of heavens. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to buy Limitless Power at messianism.com, and I will see you in the next video. Take care of yourself. Have a great week. Bye-bye.